All right, Alyssa, we are going to finish the show today with a segment that is growing in popularity. It's sweeping the globe. This is called Boss Like a Mother. So I have something fun to share with you today. During quarantine, when the schools closed and my kids were remote schooling for quite a while, there were a couple of days where I brought them to the office with me. I have office space, as you know, our listeners don't know this. I have office space a couple miles from my house. And my little office suite is in a section of the building that is otherwise empty. So I was able to keep going to work and not encounter any other people, which was a beautiful thing in the midst of the pandemic. So there were a number of days I brought my kids to work. And there was one day that they finished their schoolwork early. And I was trying to keep them occupied. And I was also writing content for our blog, writing content for our emails and whatnot. And on a whim, I said to Lily and Miles, who at the time were 9 and 7, let's do a little experiment. Here's a piece of paper. I want you to go make a list of what makes a good leader. And they came back probably like 13 minutes later, not nearly enough time that I hoped that would be a thing for a little bit. But what they brought me back is fantastic. And so I'm going to share with you, my friend, and with our boss heroes, through the eyes of a child, these 6 things that make for a good leader. Are you ready?
I am ready. I love this.
Okay. Number 1, going with others' plans. And I said, what do you mean by that? And I had a pen at the ready because I thought, there's like a blog post waiting to happen here. And this was before the podcast even existed. I said, what do you mean by that? And here's what they said. You can't just say, we're going with my plan. When someone has a good plan, if deep down, even if you're jealous of it and you didn't think of it, it's important to say, hey, that's a really good plan. Let's go with that.
Wow.
Number 2.
Wow.
Not yelling for anger. Number 3. Be kind. Number 4. Never give up. Number 5 is my favorite. Help the wounded. I said, okay, tell me more about that. And my daughter said, well, if you're I wrote this down word for word. Well, if you're in the Army and someone hurts his ankle, you don't just keep going. You got to sneak over and help him.
I want my mascara still on by the end of the episode, Joe.
And number 6 was teamwork. And now I get calls a lot from folks who say, hey, we want to do some training or some development around teamwork. Can you help us with teamwork? And so I asked Lily and Miles the same question I ask people who call. I say, what do you mean by teamwork? And they said, you don't just do the plan by yourself. You got to involve everyone to decide the right thing. And that is a list of what makes a great leader. Going with others' plans, not yelling for anger, being kind, never giving up, helping the wounded, and teamwork. I mean, we should quit the show and turn it over to them, right?
Yeah, I think that would be an amazing idea. One day we should do an episode with your. Maybe Henry could handle it too. I don't know. He might bring it. He wouldn't yell for anger. He would just yell. Right?
He would just, and it would be all like potty talk because he's the 4-year-old boy age where like poop is a noun, a verb, and an adjective, and you're like, don't use that word. Absolutely. And then then your standards change, and you're like, don't use that word at the dinner table. Yeah, that would be Henry. Yeah.
You know what's so beautiful too is it's so simplistic but so deep, right? All of those things. That was like thoughtful, emotional intelligence, like all the things. I have to tell you, I saw this just like what makes a good leader thing, and that you had asked your kids on the run
Hmm.
sheet. I didn't know any of
Yeah.
the list, right? But I saw before I came into our recording today, and so I stuck my head out the office door and I yelled down to my kid, "Hey, what do you think makes a good leader?"
Really?
Now I have to tell you, we had a good 3-minute argument
Ooh.
about why are you asking me, Mama? I don't have time for this. And like, the 7-year-old that just needs to argue because it's his only form of control in the entire universe is
And
to
you're the
argue with
only
his
other
mother.
person there for interaction.
Only for him to say, "Well, that's easy, Mama. Kindness.
Oh,
That's what you need to have as a leader." And I was like, "Dang it, kid." "Yes, thank you. Okay, goodbye now."
what? That is beautiful. Take that kid to Disney World. I mean, come on.
Torture his parents.
Oh,
Take him to
goodness.
Disney. I'm
Well,
going to
you're
leave
doing
that for his
something right,
Uncle
Mama.
Colin to do.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I thought that you would enjoy that list. I think that everybody listening is the kind of leader who shows up and tries to do those things anyway. So let it be affirmation of the person we are aspiring to come. Even through the eyes of a child, they know what we all need from others in the world. And so that's Boss Like a Mother.